Hi, this is Mrs. Macabre with a tutorial for the wide linked treble crochet. You want to start with a multiple of 2 plus 1. I have a chain of 9 here. To make the first stitch, chain 5 more, 4 for the stitch and 1 for the chain in between stitches. Yarn over, insert your hook into the back loop of the third chain from your hook, pull up a loop, then chain 1. Now skip a stitch and insert your hook into the next chain, which would be the fifth chain. Pull up a loop, chain 1. I happen to have my finger on the 9th chain. We want to skip over to the 7th chain that you made, insert your hook there, pull up a loop, now yarn over, pull through 2, 2, and 3. Chain 1. That will set you up for your next stitch. The wide linked treble crochet is different from standard linked stitches, which are usually worked into the horizontal bars of the previous stitch, but we are going to work into the outside vertical bars. If you look at your stitch, you'll see what looks like 3 chain stitches going vertically. We're going to work into the middle and the bottom of those. You have chained 1, yarn over, now insert your hook into the outside leg of the middle portion of the previous stitch, pull up a loop, chain 1, insert hook into the outside leg of the bottom of the previous stitch, pull up a loop, chain 1. Now on your base chain, skip a stitch and insert your hook into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, 2, and 3. The reason we pull through 3 loops on the last pass is, of course, because we made a yarn over at the beginning. Chain 1, let's make another stitch. All of these will be separated by a chain 1 at the top, in the middle, and at the bottom of the stitch. This gives a lacier appearance and also saves on yarn. Yarn over, insert hook into the outside leg of the middle portion of the previous stitch, pull up a loop, chain 1, insert hook into the outside leg of the bottom of the previous stitch, pull up a loop, chain 1, remember to skip a stitch and insert hook into the second stitch over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, 2, and 3. Chain 1. The reason we yarn over at the top of the stitch is to add just a little bit of fullness to the appearance. Otherwise you would have rather a large gaping hole at the top of each stitch. You can certainly leave out the yarn over, it's up to you. Let's finish off this row. Yarn over, insert hook into the middle of the previous stitch, pull up a loop, chain 1, insert hook into the bottom, pull up a loop, chain 1, skip a stitch, and we have now reached the very end of our base chain, and no need to chain 1 at the end of the row. To start the next row, chain 5, 4 for the stitch, 1 for the in-between. No need to turn your work just yet. Yarn over, and with the front of the chain stitches facing you, insert your hook into the outer or back strand of the third chain, pull up a loop, chain 1, insert hook into the back strand of the bottom chain, pull up a loop, chain 1. Now, since this stitch equals the first stitch of the row, you want to skip over the last stitch of the previous row, skip over the second stitch, and insert your hook into the third stitch. It may sound strange, but believe me, it all works out. Pull up a loop, pull through 2, 2, and 3. Here I am at the end of the row. It almost looks as though my row is complete, but there's really one more stitch that needs to be done. So I have chained 1. Always remember to chain 1 between your wide linked treble crochets. I'm going to pull up my loops with the chain 1s. Now, if you turn your work over, remember that we started with a chain 5. The 5th chain is the chain between stitches, so you want to go down to that 4th chain, which is almost like going around the corner, and work into that chain because that is the top of the previous row's stitch. Pull up a loop, pull through 2, 2, and 3. And we've completed 2 rows of wide-linked treble crochet. You can see that it's a very lacy stitch. I've worked with a slightly larger hook than usual so that you could see what I was doing. When you get going on this stitch and make large portions, you'll see that it has a faint horizontal stripe formed by the holes between the rows, and it's very drapey, stretchy in both directions, and has good recovery. Thanks for viewing. Be sure to look at the blog post for more information on this stitch. You can find the link below, and happy crocheting.